Hi, girl.
Hey.
How is everyone?
Good. How are you?
Fine. Sherry, no weather news, dear?
Well, it's just so beautiful. I just don't like making you all so jealous because you're all so,
Okay, mute yourself now, dear.
Yeah.
Mute yourself now.
I just think I just swallowed a fly.
Well, that's a
Oh.
No change there, dear.
Flies on
Now
you,
listen,
darling.
the fly.
we're getting on with the show.
Catcher.
We're at the point in the show when we are joined by today's guest. And this is someone who has been on the show before and is back by popular demand.
I know, and it was all over social media.
Yes, his social media.
A lot of people know him as the winner of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Actually, Harriet, he came fifth.
But he's best known as Robbie Jackson in EastEnders. It's Dean Gaffney.
Oh, keep
Dean,
talking.
darling.
Keep talking. Keep talking. He's not here yet.
Oh, no, not again.
Where is he?
Who knows? It's Dean.
Oh.
Hi, ladies. Sorry.
hi.
Sorry. I'm here.
Mr. Gaffney, we thought you'd forgotten us. Welcome.
No, just had a bit of trouble.
Oh,
Not at the clinic again.
No, nothing so mundane. My agent's been murdered.
Murdered?
Yeah, bit of a pisser, innit?
but that's terrible.
Certainly not too good for him.
Well, it's not too good for Dean either. He's got to find himself another agent.
Oh, and we all know what that's like. It's like
Rearranging.
Deck chairs.
On the...
Titanic.
Huh. I'd rather go swimming with a shiver of sharks.
A what?
A shiver of sharks. That's the collective noun for sharks.
What's the collective noun for agents?
Felony.
Well, that's the least of my worries. I am a suspect. They think I killed him.
You didn't, did you?
No, of course I didn't.
Why are you a suspect?
Well, someone saw us arguing.
When?
Yesterday lunchtime, we were in the gents urinals at Joe Allen's.
Well, last time I was in there,
Debbie? Dean? What were you arguing about?
Well, I just found out he was claiming commission for a job I did before I went with him.
was not on.
And he charges me 20%.
Oh,
That's robbery.
that's a felony.
So you were arguing in the gents at Joe Allen's over how much?
What was it? It was a lot. It was 50 quid.
And they think that's motive for murder?
No, they don't believe that's what we were arguing about. They think we had a lover's tiff.
They think you and your agent were an item.
Yeah.
Don't they read the tabloids?
Obviously not.
There must be something else. Just because you're having a bust up with your boyfriend.
Oh, he's not my boyfriend.
Whatever you say.
He's not.
And methinks the lady does protest too much.
I'm not gay.
How many times have you heard that, girls, and been disappointed?
I've always been disappointed.
Where was he killed? If you say your bedroom, just plead guilty now.
In his office.
When?
This morning, cleaners nearly hoovered him up. Caused a havoc with the forensics.
How did he die?
Well, they think he was hit with a BAFTA.
How do they know it was a BAFTA?
Well, one side of the face was sad and the other one was laughing.
Whose BAFTA was it? Not yours.
I wish, Sherry.
Who is this agent, anyway? Do we know him?
Yeah, Piers Roscoe, the PR agency.
Never heard of him.
Me neither.
That's because he's as useful as a one-legged man in an ass-kicking competition.
I know his name, but that's about it. Dee, do you know him?
No, can't say I do.
I don't know why I was with him.
Last resort.
He came to see me in a play and we went for dinner afterwards. Obviously, I got the bill. I should have known then.
My agent has always been as straight as a die, and I keep telling him that bribing the right people might get me some more work, but no, he won't play.
Who here would sleep with someone for a job? Because I definitely wouldn't.
Me neither.
Nor me.
Not me.
I wouldn't say no.
Dee, didn't you once?
I have never slept with my agent. Well, not when they were my agent, anyway.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Also, didn't you once have an agent that cheated you?
No, that was nothing.
Who was it? So I can make sure I stay clear of them.
I don't remember.
You must do.
They cheated you out of a lot of money. I remember you saying.
It was a while ago, 10 years.
It was longer than that.
So when was it?
I don't remember.
But you know it was more than 10 years.
Oh, look, I just want to forget about it. Pretend it never happened. Can we just drop it, please?
Oh, got it. Right. Actress Dee Anderson's claim her agent defrauded her out of £50,000.
50 grand? I didn't realise it was that much.
It was dismissed by the judge today, stating there wasn't enough evidence.
He got away with it.
Yeah, he got away with it.
That must have been awful.
Miss Anderson was in court to hear the judge's decision and was clearly very upset. The accused, however, walked out of court smiling. His lawyer made a statement on his behalf saying,
My client was delighted with the outcome. Mrs. Anderson's allegations were totally unfounded, something Mr. Roscoe has claimed all along.
he can now return to what he does.
Mr. Roscoe.
Mr. Piers Roscoe. Dee, you said you didn't know him. Why? Why did you say that?
Would you buy it if I said he'd slipped my mind? What the hell? Worth a try.
Why did you say you didn't know him?
I just did.
You must have had a reason.
When Dean said,
My agent had been murdered.
I was worried people would find a way to connect me to him
50,000 ways, I would say.
and blame me.
Is there anything to connect you to him now? After all, it's been 13 years, 2008, wasn't it? When he cheated you.
Yes, but the truth is, for the last 13 years, I've hounded him relentlessly. Every week I've sent him letters, I've made calls, all threatening to expose him for the charlatan I know he is.
Well, I can see why you're worried. We might think you killed him.
But I didn't, I swear it.
Well, when was the last time you saw him?
The night he died.
And you didn't say anything?
Would you have?
But they're trying to pin it on Dean.
Dean could look after himself. Yeah, if they knew about me seeing him, they'd have me banned to rights quicker than an episode of Murder, She Wrote.
Why did you go to see him after all this time?
It's not important.
Oh, I think it is. There'd only be two reasons I'd want to see someone who cheated me out of 50,000. And that would be either to get the money back
With interest.
or to kill them.
It happened over 13 years ago. If I was going to kill him, I'd have done it long before now.
Yet, you went to see him.
Dee, you need to explain.
Start from the beginning.
For a start, how did he cheat you out of 50,000?
Piers Roscoe was very plausible. Did any of you ever meet him?
No.
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 He was good looking, smooth, smart dresser, always in designer clothes, could charm the hind legs off a donkey. He had this way of making you feel you were the only person in the room.
Dee, when I see you, it's like you're the only person in the room.
Maybe that's because you were the only person in the room.
He said he remembered me from London's Burning.
Weren't you Donald's mother in London's Burning?
Yes, that's right. Oh, I'm amazed you remembered.
So am I.
Dee, I'm about to produce a new movie.
What's it about?
It's the story of a washed-out country and western singer who starts a relationship with a journalist. Relationship revitalizes both his career and his life. And you know what? You would be great as the journalist.
Oh, does it have a title?
Yeah. Achy Breaky Heart.
The weeks went by. And there was no news. It was just like our conversation had never happened. Then out of the blue, I get a call.
Dee? Hi, yeah. Listen, we're nearly there with the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's just one little hiccup.
Oh, what's that?
We're 50 grand short. But, we'll get it.
Short? How do you mean short? Short for what?
The executive producers won't come on board until we secure the major talent. I mean, we have you, obviously. But Jeff Bridges hasn't signed yet.
Jeff Bridges?
Yeah. His agent won't sign until we bank a 50 grand security bond with him. It's a sort of play or pay contract. But, I'm not worried. We'll get it. I just hope we get it in time.
In time for what?
Well, Jeff's in demand. He won't hang around forever. I mean, I've already put in all the cash I had, otherwise I'd do it.
You financed the film?
Oh, yeah, just to get it off the ground. I thought we were there with it, but... Hold on, sorry, Dee, I have another call coming in. Yeah? Oh, hi.
When he comes back to me, he tells me it was Jeff Bridges' agent.
And you fell for it.
Stupidly, yes.
Jeff Bridges' agent, putting on the pressure. We have until tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, they're probably bluffing.
And he obviously knows all about bluffing.
When Jeff Bridges signs, then you get the real cash?
Yeah, an initial payment of 20 million.
As soon as he signs?
Yeah, exactly. Then another 10 mil on the first day of principal photography.
I'll lend you it.
No.
Well, why not?
Oh, Dee. I couldn't.
Well, if you're sure they'll come up with the money.
Oh, I'm sure about that, yeah. Do you want to see the paperwork?
Did he show you it?
I said I trusted him.
So he just took your 50 grand and ran.
Yeah.
And what about the film?
There was no film.
Oh, but there was. It came out a year later. It was about a washed-up country and western singer. He did start a relationship with a journalist, and Jeff Bridges won an Oscar. But it wasn't called Achy Breaky Heart. It was called Crazy Heart. It came out in 2009. Mr. Piers Roscoe had obviously had wind of it and made his own version to con you out of the cash.
Well, it worked.
You still haven't explained why you went to see him.
Well, I didn't know it, but he'd kept all the threatening letters I'd sent him and recorded most of the calls. Oh, and I've got to admit I was not being nice. When he said he wanted to see me, I thought he must have had enough and was going to pay me back.
But that wasn't it.
No, he just wanted to take advantage of me.
Sex? Advantage?
Yes. And he said if I didn't let him, he'd go public with the letters and the calls and everybody would realise I was just some mad bitch and I'd never work again.
So you attacked him?
No, I swear. When I left him, he was very much alive.
Get out. Get out. Just get out.
You should never have gone to his office in the first place. That was a big mistake.
Oh, I know that now. And how do you know I went to his office? I never said where I'd met him.
I just assumed it was there.
No, you didn't.
Oh, just drop it.
No.
It's not important.
How did you know I went to his office?
Come on, Sherry, there must be a reason.
You were there, weren't you, Sherry? You were at his office. You could have told us, Sherry.
So you could suspect me.
We would suspect you because you didn't tell us. Why were you at his office?
It's private.
You're going to have to do better than that.
It was the night he died. We all deserve an explanation.
Dean Gaffney and Dee are both in the frame. You have to come clean about what you know. Why were you there?
I was there to break it off with him.
Break what off with him?
What do you think?
Oh,
You were seeing that snake in the grass?
Oh, don't get smart with me. I didn't give him 50 grand for a film he'd read about in Empire.
But you were making the beast with two backs.
oh, let's not all go all Shakespearean just now.
Sorry.
I thought he was serious.
And I thought he was serious when he said he loved me.
He said he loved you.
Yes.
Oh, and you believed him.
You heard Dee. He was very persuasive.
Love is blind, and lovers cannot see what pretty follies that themselves commit.
Harriet, please.
Just commenting.
Comment by all means, but not in iambic pentameter.
It wasn't.
Was he your agent? Is that how you knew him?
No. When I met him, I didn't even know he was an agent. I was doing a PA.
Where?
St. Helens, Costco. Look, I was being well paid. They were opening a new refrigeration section. Well, their words, not mine. They wanted someone to warm it up a bit.
Don't tell me he was lurking in the cold carts waiting to pounce.
He wasn't even there. The manager of the store, she asked me to dinner as a thank you.
Don't feel obliged, but I've booked a table at Colours Restaurant. I think it's the best food in St. Helens.
That would be nice.
Well, I'll get an Uber to pick you up at 7:30. You're in the Premier Inn, aren't you?
Yes, that's right.
Very smart.
And you went?
Oh, yes, I went. Car picks me up and I end up in this restaurant where I wait and I wait and I wait until the maitre d' comes across and tells me I've been stood up. My host had rang the restaurant with the excuse that her 9-year-old had had an earache.
Poor excuse.
That's what I thought, but I didn't care because it just meant I had an early night. I was about to leave when...
Hi.
Oh, hello. I have to admit, there was a certain something about him.
Sorry, I couldn't help overhearing that your date is unable to make it.
Oh, she wasn't my date.
Whatever. You, like me, have been stood up.
I wouldn't exactly say I've been stood up.
Well, I have. And my date didn't even have the courtesy to let me know.
Well, that's not very nice.
No, but I thought if you'd have dinner with me, then the night would be far from wasted.
He was right. He said his name was Alex Murphy.
Not Piers Roscoe.
No, that came later.
Oh.
He told me he worked...
In the city.
Why are you in St. Helens?
I own St. Helens Rugby Club. I don't make every game, but, I make as many as I can.
The Total Wicked Stadium.
Yes, that's right.
Cool name for a stadium.
Well, Totally Wicked are our biggest sponsors. 30 years ago, it would have been Benson and Hedges or Rothmans. Now it's a vaping company.
Time moves on.
Which is why you must never waste a second of it, Sherry. At this moment, I want time to stand still. I want this night to never end.
And you fell for that.
Honestly, Dee, you are in no position to criticise.
I've got to tell you, I'd have gone for it.
But I didn't actually go for it. Well, not there and then. He wore me down with flowers and gifts, and they didn't stop coming.
I'm guessing something went wrong.
Yes. Out of the blue, I got a visit from the manager of Costco. She arrived on my doorstep one evening.
You're not going to want to hear this.
I had no clue what she was going to say.
It's about Alex.
You know Alex?
Oh, yeah. I know him. And for a start, Alex isn't his real name. Alex Murphy was a famous rugby league player for St. Helens.
Why is he using a false name?
Because he was conning you. The nearest he's got to one in the club is paying to see a game.
I don't get it.
He's an agent. He'd heard they were planning a new series of Benidorm, And he had an actress on his books, right, that he was trying to seduce, actually, had seduced, by promising her a part in Benidorm. Your part.
My part? How was he going to do that?
With a sucker punch. He gets you hooked, right? Then he reels you in and tells you he's taking you on a 6-month vacation to the Caribbean. First class, best hotels, the works. You say you can't go because of Benidorm. He's offering you the world, tells you to forget about acting because that's a mug's game. You turn down Benidorm, he arranges to meet you at the airport and doesn't show up. His actress gets the part and you're left high and dry.
Obviously, he doesn't know much about actors. There is no way I'd turn down a job to go anywhere with anybody.
He did all that just so he could get one of his clients some work.
That's what she said.
He's obsessive. He has something to prove. You know, he used to be an actor that became a failed actor. And who did he blame? His agent.
He was probably just crap.
Yeah, probably. But he wanted to show everyone that it wasn't his fault. So he became an agent. He told every actor he took on that they would never stop working. He thought by doing that, it would vindicate his failure.
That's not obsessive. That's just pathetic.
Didn't know they were doing another series of Benidorm. I'll get my agent onto it.
They're not. It was just one of those industry rumours.
So it was all a waste of time.
Exactly.
At least you didn't lose 50 grand.
No, but I lost something far more important, Dee. My pride.
So why did this manageress suddenly decide to tell you this?
He used me to get to meet you. Because it was me he'd promised the part. But then I found out I was one of 5 actresses he'd already lined up. And I wasn't even his first choice. That was the end.
So what is his real name?
Piers Roscoe.
Wow. Mr. Roscoe has a shock coming.
Just walk away. The man's insane.
I'm not going to let him get away with it. Where can I find him?
Try his office.
So you went and confronted him. You wanted your revenge.
I wanted to murder him. But, I mean, not murder him for real, of course. Figuratively.
But you were at his office that night.
Yes, I was there.
And you argued. He's in with a BAFTA and got out of there.
No. He was dead when I got there. Somebody had beaten me to it. I thought it was you. Because just as I arrived, you were leaving.
It wasn't me, I've told you.
Okay, but you must realise how dodgy you look.
Can't go around accusing each other. That'll get us nowhere. There's one villain in this piece, and it's Piers Roscoe. He obviously makes his money using all types of scams.
Yes, like films that don't exist, owning rugby clubs.
Having 2 names.
I think there's more than 2. The actress manager Costco told me.
If you see the name, Sebastian Swede, stay well clear. That is also Piers Roscoe, alias Alex Murphy.
Sebastian Swede.
You know him?
I know him all right.
Harriet! Hi! So glad you could make it.
Sebastian?
Indeed. Sebastian Swede at your service. Listen, you probably know a lot of people here.
A few.
Well, most of them know you.
Not too intimately, I hope.
Did my secretary explain what this evening's about?
Not exactly.
Here, sorry, let me get you a drink before I give you the guided tour. Red or white?
White, please.
A white for the young lady, please.
Oh. Thank you.
It's a very clean Sauvignon Blanc. It's French. I chose it myself. I'm not a big lover of the New World wines.
Anything wet and alcoholic is okay by me.
Oh, that's very funny. So look, so the idea is we're going to create a drama school for underprivileged kids. Kids who can't afford to go to a regular drama school.
When you say kids,
16 plus. You know, it'd be like an apprenticeship.
Is this going to be on a first come, first served basis, or are you thinking of auditioning, doing a means test? What?
You see, I just knew we were right inviting you. Those are exactly the questions that need sorting out. We can't run before we can walk, as the expression goes. So let me just explain where we've got to. This building that we're using tonight will be our focal point.
What was it? The school?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah. It's been empty for about 18 months.
I'm surprised developers haven't snapped it up.
Council wouldn't let them. Some old bylaw, you know, it has to be used for educational purposes until at least 2035.
Handy.
The idea is to turn this area into the major studio and flexible performance space. And upstairs, we want to convert it into 3 studios. Then there's various rooms which will be used for tutorials and offices.
Sounds terrific.
Yeah, the council will let us have it for a song.
What's a song?
1.4
million.
Yeah. Freehold, though.
Sounds reasonable if you have 1.4 million and want to buy an old school.
Do you like the idea?
Absolutely. It's what this area needs.
Excellent.
I take it tonight's about raising money to buy it.
Partly, yeah. But it's also about forming a board of governors. Your name came up a good few times, obviously. So I'm here, supplicating before you, asking you if you would join our board of governors.
Well,
Don't have to answer straight away. Just, think about it. Let me know what you decide. In the meantime, enjoy the evening, mingle with your fellow theatre and TV people, and ring me whenever you've made a decision.
That was it?
Well, he didn't ask you for any cash?
Well, not directly.
Did you join the board?
Stupidly, yes. I rang him a couple of days later, and in less than a week, I was at the first meeting of the Board of Governors.
Was there anybody else there you knew?
Yeah, there were 12 people on the board, and I knew 6 of them. Plus, of course, Sebastian Swede, who was unanimously voted in as chairperson.
Okay, I did prepare an agenda for today's meeting, and I hope it's acceptable. There are just 3 points I think we need to cover immediately. Firstly, a point that Harriet brought to my attention. Thank you, Harriet.
And that is the selection of students.
Yeah, how do we select our students? Health and safety will allow us just a maximum of 90 students. So we need to know where we're getting the right ones, the ones that will benefit the most from what we have to offer. Second, Harriet.
Is the form the course will take.
And thirdly.
Is the funding.
Ladies and gentlemen, Harriet Thorne.
Oh, I guessed it'd get to the money eventually.
Was he asking you for all the cash?
Oh, no. He was cleverer than that. He said the building had already been paid for. He intimated he'd personally financed it himself.
Yeah, like hell. There's more chance of me marrying Scott Tracy than that happening.
He also claimed a wealthy individual had offered to finance the conversion of the building.
Who?
This particular individual has requested to remain anonymous, and I'm afraid I have to respect that.
What he wanted money for was...
to fund the students.
No, straight to the heartstrings.
These will be kids that have nothing. No educational grants, no parental backing, nothing.
He wanted us to co-opt people we knew to become friends of the DFA school.
DFA?
Drama for all. For £1,000, they would become a friend and they would get their name on a painted board in the lobby.
£1,000? That's where he's clever.
Yeah.
If he's been asking for millions, nobody would have entertained him, but £1,000?
And did you co-opt any friends?
Yes, 22 in total.
£22,000. And that was just you.
Did they lose their money?
Luckily, no. He made one vital mistake. He didn't set up a DFA account for the money. I told him I had all these people just gagging to be friends of the DFA. Where should they pay their £1,000?
Their £1,000?
Yeah, where would you like them to pay it?
Right. Well, for the moment, it's probably best to pay it into my account. I mean, we're just in the process of sorting out a bank for the school. Blah, 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 blah.
I think he knew that he'd blown it.
So what did you do?
I started doing what I should have done before. I started digging. The Newham Council that owned the building, they knew nothing about the proposed drama school. The only offer they'd had was from the developers.
It's one con after another.
He hadn't even had permission to use the place. The police were investigating a break-in that had happened.
He's got some balls, you have to give him that.
The 6 members of the board that I didn't know all turned out to be actors, all on the same agent's books.
Piers Roscoe's clients.
Exactly. They'd been told it was a hidden camera shoot, and they had to act being these different people. This was a pilot episode. If they did well, they'd be taken into the show. That didn't exist.
Ah, so he didn't even have to pay them.
The last thing I found out was that his production company, SS Entertainment, had only been in existence for 10 weeks and had never produced a thing.
SS Entertainment, is that for real?
Yeah, I did point that out to him. SS, as in Nazi Germany, Hitler, war crimes.
I thought it had a familiar ring to it.
I told him we needed to talk, and we met at Joanne's. As I arrived, I saw Dean Gaffney walking out. I could see he wasn't happy.
So what happened over lunch?
I gave it to him straight. I told him I thought he was a con man, and that I was going to make sure no one I knew gave him a penny.
You say one thing against me, and I'll sue you for slander.
So away, because I only tell the truth.
Well, let's see who everyone believes. Me or you, an actress acting in retaliation because I wouldn't have her as a client. And to top it all, it's the best bit of acting she's ever done.
So I slapped him, and everyone at Joe Allen saw it. I didn't realise Sebastian Swede was, in fact, Piers Roscoe. Or I would have said something before.
So the 3 of us all had a motive to kill him.
Just, my money's still on Dean.
How long before the police cotton on? The 3 of us could all be suspects. We each had a motive and an opportunity.
Actually, it's the 4 of us.
You?
Yeah.
What have you done wrong?
You said you didn't even know him.
I lied. I knew him all right. He had my sister jailed for something she didn't do, which I guess you could say is a motive for revenge.
I never even knew you had a sister.
Yes, she's my identical twin.
Identical? Really identical?
The spitting image.
And she's in jail?
That's right.
Because of Piers Roscoe?
When she met him, he called himself River Monet.
River Money?
No, Monet, like the painter. He spoke with a French accent.
So what happened? How did your sister end up in jail? What's her name, by the way?
Jeannette.
She fell for him, didn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God for that. I'm not the only one that was taken in by him.
I made the introduction because I met him first.
How? How did you meet him?
At an audition.
And what was he pretending to be on that occasion?
A big-time French theatre director. He was doing a production of Chantal de Bergerac.
Chantal de Bergerac? Don't you mean Cyrano de Bergerac?
Oh, it's the same story, but it's about a woman trying to seduce another woman.
Very woke.
It was to tour all over the world, and he wanted to see me for the part of Chantal, so of course I went along.
Bonjour.
Hi,
Quel est votre nom?
je m'appelle Debbie.
Ah, très bon. You speak French.
A little?
Well, not to worry. This play is in English. I did the translation myself from the top of the page. Please, in your own time.
Players a march, gentlemen of the band, brave officers. Next, women in costume, and 20 paces on, I all alone, beneath the plume that glory lends herself, to deck my beaver, proud as Scipio. Is that right? To deck my beaver?
Oui.
I think he'll get a laugh, but for the wrong reasons. The whole thing was just ridiculous. I didn't think he'd translated at all. He'd literally just switched the names round, but he wasn't having it.
What do you know? You're now a writer as well as an actress.
No, but I know when something's rubbish.
I have lots of people backing this play. They would not back it if they did not think it was good.
So where does Jeanette fit into all this?
Jeanette speaks French fluently, so I suggested she went through the script and iron out the problems.
Whatever his name is agreed.
Because he looked her up and obviously fancied her. The next thing I know, he's taking her out here, there, and everywhere, and she is just loving it.
I sense a but is about to happen.
Oh, you sense right. It was all going swimmingly until she had to admit to herself that Mr. Monet wasn't French.
Which he wasn't.
She sensed right.
She thought something was odd the first time she met him, but she was having such a good time, she decided to ignore it until she couldn't any longer.
So what did she do?
She decided to delve into River Money's background.
And
she found out that up until 6 months ago, before meeting him, he didn't exist.
Oh, surprise!
That's River Monet.
River Monet?
No, Monet, like the painter.
The first time we have any record of him is 4 months ago.
4 months?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
He'd created this new persona and the production so he could elicit money, but not just from individuals, from governments and organisations.
The French government, 30,000. The Canadian Arts Council, 45,000. The European Central Bank, 25,000. Swedish Cultural Woke Society, 5,000. Miscellaneous do-gooders, 3,500.
Same MO. He didn't ask for astronomically large amounts. So when he disappears, nobody can be bothered chasing him. It's not worth their while.
No, but it's worth his.
Did Jeanette confront him?
Yeah, which is when it all went pear-shaped.
What happened?
She was just going to walk away and forget about it.
Why didn't she?
Because stupidly, I persuaded her not to. I said she had to have it out with him. She wouldn't let him get away with it. If she didn't stop him, he'd just keep ripping people off.
You were right there.
So she confronted him.
You are accusing me of cheating?
Yes, I am.
You dare to tell me that I am not French? That this whole thing is a way of extracting money out of people? Je suis français! This will be the best production of Chantal de Bergerac ever!
By the signs of it, it'll be the only one.
And then he just disappeared, vanished. But Jeanette had the bit between her teeth. She kept on digging and found out he was this dodgy agent, found out he was married.
He was married?
Yeah.
I'd definitely kill him if he wasn't already dead.
She wouldn't let up. And then it happened.
What?
Well, out of the blue, there was a knock at the door and there were the police with a search warrant.
Oh, this doesn't sound good.
They went through her flat, top to bottom, And what they found was a stash of jewellery that apparently belonged to the wife of Piers Roscoe.
Alias Alex Murphy.
Alias Sebastian Swede.
Roscoe had apparently reported a burglary, listed the items missing, and all of them were found in Jeanette's flat.
And he planted them.
Exactly. She had no idea how they were there.
Did they arrest her?
Oh, on the spot. And it gets worse. It seems the burglar had not only broken into Roscoe's house, but they'd stabbed him with a knife, wounding him in the stomach.
Woe, destruction, ruin, and decay. And the worst is death. And death will have his day.
Richard II, Act 3, Scene 2, line 104.
Act 1. Anyway, it turns out our Piers was a frustrated actor. The injury turned out to be just a flesh wound, but the knife was conveniently dropped to the scene. And guess what? It had Jeanette's fingerprints all over it. He must have stolen it when he broke into Jeanette's flat to plant.
He stabbed himself?
Yeah.
What happened to your twin?
8 years. Aggravated burglary.
What?
Yeah. And it was all my fault. If I hadn't told her to go after him, none of this would have happened. I am responsible. Me.
So us three are not the only one who had a motive to kill him.
No, you're not. I had a motive, and I wanted to. I wanted to kill him and watch him die.
So all 4 of us had a motive to kill him. But we didn't all have the opportunity. You certainly did, Dee.
Would I kill him for £50,000?
The police think Dean Gaffney did it for 50 quid.
Of course, the motive doesn't have to be money.
Is that some sort of admission?
Absolutely not.
Dee went to the office that night and she says he was alive when she left. You saw her leaving by the time you got there. He was dead.
That's right. But what I didn't explain was after I saw Dee leaving, I didn't go into the office straight away.
You didn't say that.
Well, I'm saying it now.
Well, what did you do?
I wandered around for a while, seeing Dee through me. I hadn't a clue what she was doing there. For a time, I thought she might have been in cahoots with him. Was she the actress he was trying to elevate to my role in Benidorm?
Oh, I'd never do that.
I know that here now, but that night I was a mess. I didn't know what to think. If Angelina Jolie had come out of the office, I would have thought she was after my part.
Let not the world see fear and sad distrust govern the motion of a kindly eye.
What?
King John, Act 5, Scene 1. Thank you.
Oh, now is not the time.
Just saying.
It had to be at least an hour before I went back, and I swear he was dead when I got there.
You never went near his office, did you, Harriet? And I'm guessing he was alive when you left him in Joe Allen's.
If he hadn't been, I think someone would have mentioned it.
False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
Lady M, the Scottish tragedy.
Oh, can't you just say it in plain English?
You haven't been telling us the entire truth, have you, Harriet?
I did go to his offices that night.
Well, you should have told us.
Oh yeah, like you told us about the 50 grand and Sherry told us about seeing somebody called Alex Murray.
Murphy.
Whatever. Just because I didn't tell you doesn't mean I killed him.
But did you?
No.
Oh.
I went to his office, but I never saw him.
Was he already dead?
I don't know. The office door was locked, so I knocked on it. At first there was no reply. Then I heard someone moving around inside, so I knocked again and shouted, "I know you're in there!"
So what did he do?
He did nothing. It was the cleaner.
We're all locked up for the night. Can't you see that now? I'm doing the cleaning. So if you're back after a job, then you're out of luck.
Oh, that could have been the murderer.
Thinking back, yes, it could.
And did you recognise the voice at all?
No.
Well, could you describe it?
What did she sound like?
Nobody I knew. For a start, she was Irish and she had this really deep voice. If I'd heard it again, I'd recognise it immediately.
You did go there?
Yeah.
So we all had the opportunity. The police could arrest any one of us.
Except Debbie.
Except Debbie.
And she probably had the strongest motive of all.
Where were you that evening, Debbie?
We were meant to be meeting up. And if you hadn't cancelled, I probably would never have gone to his office anyway.
You cancelled, did you, Debbie?
That's right, there was somewhere else I had to be.
Where?
I was doing the cleaning, so if you're after a job, then you're out of luck.
You were the cleaner. It was you in his office.
I couldn't bear the thought of Jeanette being in jail. So I confronted him. Then maybe I could just make him feel guilty. I could persuade him to go to the police and tell the truth.
So you did see him?
Yes.
And what happened?
When I arrived, the door was open, so I just went in.
What are you doing here?
I came to see you. What do you think I'm doing here?
Right, before you start, you're wasting your time.
Hear me out.
There's no point.
You stitched her up. Jeanette was nowhere near your house that night.
So?
So you have no conscience at all?
No.
You're just going to let an innocent person rot in jail.
It's not my fault that she can't take a hint. If she'd just have been sensible, she'd now be walking around free instead. She just wouldn't let up. Everywhere I turned, people were asking me awkward questions. I didn't need that sort of aggravation.
You just wanted the money.
What's wrong with that?
It wasn't your money.
Of course it was. They'd promised me it.
Because you lied to them.
And that stops it being my cash? Well, I don't think so.
It's called acquiring money by deception.
How was I deceiving anyone?
The show didn't exist. It was never going to exist.
So? Do you seriously think that one day fresh water and adequate food will exist for the entire world? It doesn't stop them taking your money.
Say what you like. That money is not yours.
God, no, you're just splitting hairs.
This has nothing to do with splitting hairs. What you're doing is illegal.
You say tomato, I say tomato. Let's call the whole thing off, shall we?
No, we shall not. I am not going to let this rest until Jeanette is out of jail.
Then you've got a bit of a wait.
How do you live with yourself? Your entire life is fake. Your name is probably fake. River Monet was definitely fake. And you have a terrible French accent, by the way. And Chantal de Bergerac, fake. There is nothing real about you. Look at this office. It's a front for scamming money out of people. The photos on the wall. Who are all these people? The degree from Las Vegas in theatrical management is not only a fake, but it's also in bad taste. And the BAFTA on the shelf. Well, that's got to be a fake.
Ah, well, that's where you're wrong, because that is real.
I don't believe you. And that's when I climbed up on the chair and grabbed the BAFTA. I was surprised how heavy it was. Roscoe came running over to try and stop me, and at that moment I couldn't hold on to it any longer, and I dropped it right on his head.
You did what?
I dropped the BAFTA on his head.
Hi, everyone. You want the good news? But I'm going to tell you all anyway. I am no longer a suspect. I am a free man, and they've closed the case.
They've found the killer?
No, apparently it was a misadventure. He was reaching for a BAFTA, which was on a shelf in his office. It slipped out of his hands and smashed him in the face, killing him stone dead. So it's all over.
I don't believe it.
Well, it's true. And the irony is, the BAFTA was
Fake?
stolen. They found loads of other stolen stuff along with the evidence of various cons and scams. And get this, there was a play somebody had asked him to read, and the plot was about how a couple were wanting to get rid of some girl who knew they were crooked. So they set her up, made it look like she robbed them by planting some stolen stuff in her flat. Then the bloke stabbed himself with one of the knives, the icing on the cake. And apparently Roscoe had done all that. His wife has come clean. Some poor girl got sent down for it.
That was my twin sister.
Really? Well, apparently she'll be out real soon. Longer she's in, the more compensation they'll have to pay.
So, it's all over?
It's all over.
And we're all in the clear.
Well, unless one of you isn't telling me something.
No.
No?
No?
No.
You know what, ladies? Thanks for the support. It got me through.
It's our pleasure.
So, what happens now?
Yeah. What happens now?
Can I just say that everything I said that happened that night, I made up. If we can leave it there.
Why not?